selection show kind of drags on a little bit. Like, what was it like waiting to find out if you were seeded, and find out who you were playing and when and all that kind of thing?
I was definitely more nervous to see if we were hosting or not. We kind of got to the end. I didn't think I'd be that nervous, but when we got to the lower numbers, I was like, kind of a little nervous. But yeah, I was just interested to see who we'd get to host. So lots of good teams, and I'm excited, super excited.
Yeah, how do you feel about the assignments? Like, looks like they've all had pretty good seasons, and obviously you guys have, most of you, but how do you feel about the draw as a whole, like teams that you don't usually see on the schedule that you get to play now?
Yeah, I'm excited to see teams that we haven't ever played before. That would be super exciting. But I don't know much about the teams, so it'll be fun to watch film and get to know them a little bit better so you're prepared.
Yeah, just the reaction to hosting. I mean, it's always a goal to try to get there and have some home games in the NCAA tournament. What's the feeling like for this team to achieve a goal?
I think Naomi and I are the only ones on the team. I mean, Annika and Keely too. I've been the only ones on the team who've been here when we hosted, and a lot of us didn't play. So we're super excited to actually get the chance to be out there on the court, have our fans behind us. We're super excited. We also don't get to travel for the first one. We get to sleep in our own bed, so we're excited for that too.
A lot of the upperclassmen from those previous teams that hosted mentioned that there's a different level of nerves that go into being host because you have to deal with ticket requests and all the attention on campus. Did you learn at all any tricks to navigate that, because it is a different dynamic than just going out there and letting it rip on the road?
I think just taking it one game at a time and kind of letting the outside factors take care of themselves and just focus on what we need to do. I think as seniors we're gonna just really focus. It's just a game. Like we know it's one and done, but still it's just a game, and we're gonna take it one game at a time and focus on what we need to do and let those outside factors just do their thing. So.
How would you describe just the team and where you guys are at right now heading into it? How's the energy? How are you guys feeling? Just obviously coming off and winning the Big East tournament.
I think we're all feeling pretty confident. We're clicking in all cylinders, so we're super excited. We all love each other, so it'll be super fun to get to play some more games at home.
How difficult is it, to have such a short amount of time to prepare for such a big game like this? Like, what is just kind of the steps in trying to do that, and how difficult is that for you?
I mean, it's what we do all season. You play a game, you turn around, scout your opponents, do the same thing. So it'll be similar to what we've done all year, but the coaches will get us prepared, so no worries there.
Norah, was your family here with you?
They were not.
No, they weren't. Okay,
They were just watching from home.
What is this experience like for you? I mean, this is the first time you're getting to do something like this. So how are you feeling throughout the day, and what is it like?
I mean, it's kind of a dream come true. Like the past couple years, I've been watching on TV just to see where Creighton lands, but to actually be here and to see our names up on the screen is just so amazing, and I'm so excited.
What were you more excited about? Seed or seeing who you're playing, letting you kind of just focus like you've been on all season?
I think both. I mean, we worked so hard all season, and just like coming down to it, we really thought that we deserved to host, and so to get that solidified is super exciting, and we're very excited to start off the tournament at home where we've been playing all year.
Or did you ever have a chance to go to any of these NCAA tournament matches that Creighton hosted back in the day? I mean, it was like 5 years ago, 4 years ago or something. Any NCAA matches that you attended?
Yes, I went to, it would have been Jaela Winters' senior year. I went to that game. And I mean, just the excitement of that, like I still remember that to this day, so that gets me super excited. And just being at home, that's something that I remember all of them talking about. And I mean, our fan base is amazing, so that'll be super cool to have in the first round, and just built up our confidence a lot, and it's something that we're used to. So
you didn't play many home matches this year, at least not compared to like years past. You guys had to 21 matches on the road or neutral floors this year. I mean, did you notice a difference when you finally got to play in front of your home fans, especially for bigger matches, like the energy level and how it helped you guys maybe through some balls in each match?
I think our fans are absolutely amazing, like one of the best in the country. They're always super duper loud, and they always show out no matter who we're playing. It's definitely a lot more comfortable playing at home, and just you feel the support of your home crowd. So that'll be super awesome to have in the first couple rounds.
Take me through just the emotions of those entire just couple hours. Obviously, like you said, just waiting game, to see your guys' name up there and be able to host at home, but just also like when you figured out who you guys were going to be playing, kind of what were those different emotions like just sitting there with it all at once?
Initially I was very nervous, but I think it was like an excited nervous. Like I said, we worked really hard all year, and we really wanted that to pay off in the end, and it did, so that's really exciting for us.
I saw Coach say something to you guys at the end, just real quick. What did she tell you guys after everything kind of settled and you guys figured out who you're playing?
Yeah. Seeing all the brackets lay out, she was just reminding us that every single team in this tournament is really great, so we have to become prepared for every single game, no matter who we're playing.
You know what's funny? We're joking about the selection show, how it kind of like takes its time, put it nicely. What's going through your mind as you're kind of waiting to see, A, if you're hosting, B, who you're playing, C, when?
Well, I thought we were hosting, so for me, people were saying, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "Well, I'm anxious to see what it's all about the draw, right?" So I felt like we'd host. The question is where we'd land, and I thought somewhere between 11 and 14. And then it was about seeing the matchups, and I don't know a lot about the team. I know a little bit about Kansas. I don't think we've ever played Ole Miss, at least as far as I can recall. I'm not sure we've ever played Oregon either, so my memory's bad though. So Rob will be able to tell us if I'm mistaken on that. But I know their coaches. Ole Miss obviously is a program that is on the upward trend. Oregon is a program that is good year in and year out, and then Kansas, is someone that we battle pretty regularly. I haven't played for several years, but obviously as a staff we know well. And we have a lot of players from the Kansas City area, so a lot of their friends will be arriving to Omaha pretty soon.
Yeah, I know you said you're not familiar with Ole Miss, but in a way you kind of are. Like Caleb Arnworth has been kind of one of the key cogs in designing Nebraska's defense. Like, what do you remember about the team she kind of put together and the way they played that might at least help prepare you in some kind of way for what you see this weekend from a stylistic standpoint?
Yeah, Kayla was an incredible libero, and I don't know if I know. They play tenacious defense. I have no doubt that Ole Miss will do that. But Maggie Scott, actually her assistant, I know better than Kayla. We recruited Maggie, and it was down to us in Oregon.
Okay.
Maggie went to Oregon, so I know them quite well. But we'll dive into film as soon as we can and learn a lot about all the teams.
Do you think that? It's hard to host to get to this position. Do you feel like your team had to grind, and obviously they earned it? Did they understand what they accomplished? It's a pretty cool thing to get to say that you're a top 16 seed.
It is a big deal, and I hope they recognize that. For the last couple of weeks, we've talked about every match. If we drop any of those matches, I don't think we host. So, taking it one match at a time. It's the same thing we'll be doing in the postseason. Thursday night we got to be ready to go one match at a time. So, I think the grind is probably the most challenging part of that, is understanding the ramifications every single time you step onto the court. And it is tough to get to host, and I really do. As coaching staff, we have to appreciate what this team has done, and I hope they understand how successful of a season they've had thus far.
Yeah, because I was thinking about how, in 2017, 2018, those teams had kind of gone through the grind of the NCAA tournament, winning on the road, and they were like, okay, we got to bring these first couple rounds home.
Yes.
This team, on the other hand, I think Jaela mentioned that she and maybe a couple players experienced that, but they don't know what it's like, what the advantage could be. What do you think they'll notice when, they take the court and they've got their home fans behind them?
Well, I just think this team has really played well at home, and with that said, I think we would have been fine on the road too. They've handled hostile environments, but there's nothing like having your home crowd behind you, and we're just fortunate to have the opportunity to play at home.
What are you feeling now, Coach? Obviously the day you're very anxious, just waiting for this moment. So now that you're playing and just everything, how do you feel?
Well, right now I feel like, hey, I need to find out everything I can about Ole Miss and the other two teams. So, right now it's like dive in and work time. Nowadays we have such incredible film. We can watch all their film all broken down immediately. Rob will get me all the stats right away. So, now it's about making sure we're prepared and the team's ready to go.
And you mentioned obviously not knowing a lot about Ole Miss, but their coach. Do you know anything much about her? Like, have you guys had any interaction?
Sure, yeah. I've known Kayla, well, probably when she became an assistant. I actually know her mother. So I know her family from years ago. Ann and I were in a class together when I lived in Iowa. Kayla's from Dubuque. So I've watched Kayla's career and, obviously a fan of her. I think she's a wonderful, I shouldn't say young woman anymore, but she's a lot younger than I am. So she's done a great job, and, we'll be excited to welcome her and her team to Omaha.
What's something you've learned? I mean, this is going to be your third time hosting in the last 5 years. Like, that's different about preparing for all the distractions that come with being in the NCAA tournament, the stuff that might lead to jitters, versus what it's like going on the road and dealing with that same kind of energy.
Yeah, it is different, and I think our job is to try to just keep them focused, and I think that's always a challenge. But I think this team has had a calm in a lot of different situations that I thought that they, I think the Big East tournament at Marquette is a good example of how they handled things, and I think when we were down in game 2, they were able to stay calm and weather that. So I think they have even though we've got some youth on the team, I think they do have a maturity about them, and it's our job to hopefully take the pressure off them and just play Creighton volleyball.